A study by the National Minimum Wage Commission has uncovered a lack of compliance with South Africa's national minimum wage policy by employers. Now, the national minimum wage was last year set at 27 Rand and 58 cents per hour. The national minimum wage was introduced in the country in 2019 to help reduce poverty and inequality, as well as to promote fair labour practices. The study found evidence that is suggestive of partial compliance in some instances. Employers say this is due to a slow economic growth, but Trade Union Federation COSATU says there's been a blatant disregard to the national minimum wage by some employers, cautioning that it's illegal for employers to pay their employees less than this minimum threshold of 27 Rand and 58 cents per hour. Let's speak to National Union of Public Service and Allied Workers General Secretary Solly Malema for more. Solly, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. A study has really just gone out to show that there was a lack of compliance with South Africa's national minimum wage policy by employers. Is this an expected outcome? Was this the one which was suspected to begin with?
Yeah, greetings to you and your viewers. We are not surprised as NUPSAW about these developments. If I can take you back when this minimum wage was introduced, we waged a vigorous campaign against the poverty minimum wage. I must say we're not against the introduction of the minimum wage, but we were raising a concern about the 20 Rand per hour during that time. And now, if you look at the working class in this country, we are confronted with the attacks on livelihoods. And if you look at, over 30 million working class people live in poverty. And unemployment has reached a catastrophic level. So with 12.3 million people looking but unable to find jobs. You look at the youth, the 43.7% of youth aged between 15 and 24 are not employed. Education and training, for instance, the working class community are ravaged by the crime and gender-based violence. Now, if you look at it, all these things centered around austerity. It's a coordinated attack, austerity and the erosion of the social wage.
Mm-hmm.
To unpack it, for instance, the Department of Labor must play a role in terms of making sure that they enforce compliance. But because of the austerity that this government continues to impose, they do not have enough capacity or enough inspectors to go and do the inspection to these employers. And it is illegal, once again, for these employers to deviate from the minimum wage.
And of course, some of the reasons that we've heard from the employers deviating, they've cited reasons such as the slow economic growth. How does that factor in when you look at how much someone's getting paid and the current state of the economy?
Well, we all know that workers will always be the scapegoats for low economic growth. And this thing is done deliberately. The mainstream commentators, including the capitalist parties like the Democratic Alliance, clearly states that unions and the cost of labor are to be blamed for the economic sluggish growth. We all know that they will put the blame on unions for fighting for living wages. And if you look at now, the Minimum Wage Commission proposed, I think, is 1.5, 1.5 plus CPI as an increase for the financial year 2025-2026. And we are expecting the Department of Labor, once this has been approved, to make sure that they enforce compliance.
And what are some of the steps that you'll be taking to ensure that this does happen? I mean, you've spoken quite a great deal about how the Department of Labour must play a role here, that, they must assist on a way forward and ensure that workers are compensated as they should.
Well, we are appealing to the workers to report these matters to us as trade unions so that we also rope in the Department of Labour and we conduct robust inspections to all the companies that are non-compliant. Sorry.
And is there a time frame that you're going to be giving here? What space are you working towards?
It depends. Remember, if you look at the Labour Relations Act or how it's set up, it says the shop stewards at the shop floor, their main duty is to report the non-compliance. Hence, we are appealing to the workers in those companies that are non-compliant to report this matter so that we can deal with these employers decisively.
And very lastly, before we let you go, Solly, what have you found to be some of the biggest challenges to workers reporting? What have you found to be some of the biggest challenges to workers reporting and really speaking out? Because, I mean, in some instances, we've heard how workers may be afraid of losing their jobs.
Well, some of the issues is the blame should be on Department of Labour, because once these matters are reported, the department must do something about these matters. But workers have been reporting these matters to the Department of Labour, but nothing is happening. So those are some of the reasons why the workers are now reluctant to report. But we are encouraging them to report. We will assist them and we'll also follow up on this report, engage the Department of Labour so that those employers that are non-compliant are dealt with decisively.